Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and beer.
And beer. Just two crazy Florida men sitting around drinking beer talking about true crime and all these other criminal knuckleheads and cults and all that stuff. Because for some reason, the fact that it's two Florida men doing it just makes it better.
Oh yeah. Always.
Absolutely. So that's Todd.
And that's Bill.
And we're going to do this thing. But first I got to ask you, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, dude, I'm still on the rum and coke kick, man. I don't know why. But dude, we're not recording these on our usual night, so I didn't think about it and I didn't stop to get beer. So I had rum and I had coke, so I'm doing that. Yeah,
we're stockpiling episodes right now.
Yes, we are.
Because
just to make sure that no matter what happens, we have content to put out for you,
right? Because
our lovely listeners,
who we absolutely adore and care about.
Yes.
And
so yeah, we're backing ourselves up.
Yeah, I have to go over the road for a couple of months with my job, so and I will be able to record on the road, but we just want to have a safety net.
Yep, we want to make sure we got content to put out. Just
right
in
now,
case.
Right now, this will be our 5th episode ahead. So we record.
I know, right? Holy crap!
Yeah. So, and not to mention, well, I'm not going to say it because I'll just go ahead and say it. The first Survivor episode is coming out.
Oh, nice! Right on.
And I'm not going to. It's pointless to say it on this one because it'll come out long before this episode does.
Well, yeah.
But
the first Survivor episode is out as of listening to this.
Right, and by the time this one goes out, the second Survivor episode might be out.
Well, there you go. So there might be 2 out by the time you're hearing this shit. So you need to go check that out if you haven't already.
Right, it's on our feed. It'll just say Survivor stories.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So, we're covering Richard Speck, and that has something to do with nurses, doctors, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a question, Dr. Ray.
All right.
Okay, I have a friend, and she went to a doctor today to have X-rays done on a surgery that she had, but the X-ray surgeon didn't get the X-rays to the doctor, and the doctor was like, the doctor's pissed off and everything because they wasted a trip. They had to go from Titusville to Orlando.
Okay.
And so they wasted a trip basically because the X-rays weren't there for the doctor to go over. So, so the doctor's pissed, and she told me that he even cussed a couple of times.
Oh, all right.
God damn it, these sons of bitches. Or whatever. I don't know exactly what they said, but and I got the thought, we need more real people as doctors.
Well, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, next time I have to change my doctor for whatever reason, as part of my screening process to find out if this doctor is going to work, I'm going to be like, hey, okay, doc, I need you to do something for me. What's that? Tell me to go fuck myself.
Right.
What? Tell me to go fuck myself. Oh, I can't. All right, I'm going to a different doctor.
Yeah.
You're not real. And if he says, okay, go fuck yourself. Well, okay, cool.
Yeah,
thank you.
You didn't mean it. Tell me like you fucking mean it, bro.
Yeah. It's like, no, I was actually telling you to go fuck yourself for having the audacity to ask me to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Right? Oh.
So, yeah, damn doctors.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
But it would be nice if they would just talk to you like a real person.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, because when I was in New York one time during COVID, and the sleepy little town, Plattsburgh, I think, but I was in a sleepy little town. I had to spend the night at this distribution center that I was delivering to the next morning, and I call it this pizza place. And this was when I had just found out that I was gluten allergic. So I'm like, okay, let's try this this cauliflower pizza. And so the guy, thickest New York accent you've ever heard. He's like, yeah, we have it, but you're gonna fucking hate it because it tastes like shit. He's telling me this over the phone.
Great. Well, hey, at least he's being honest with you.
So I'm like, yeah, I know. So I ordered it anyway, and I got out there and I called him back and I said, "You're right. That tasted like fucking shit, man." He's like, "You want me to send another one out, a regular pizza out for you for free as long as you tip the driver?" I said, "Nah, don't worry about it." I said, I ate about 4 slices of it just because I was hungry. I'm good now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I appreciate it though. He goes, "No fucking problem." He says, "I got your back." I'm like, I love this guy.
Right on.
So
yeah, that was nice of him to do that. I mean, even though he did tell you weren't going to like it.
Yeah,
but
I'd rather deal with a real person in any instance. It's like, especially when you get some of the, like, these people are, like, they answer the phone, they've got this long ass spiel about, like, thank you for calling. And every time you think they're almost done with their spiel and you're about to open your mouth to talk, they keep going. 30 seconds into the call, they're still doing their monologue and you haven't even said anything yet. That just irks the shit out of me.
Or you get the ones that's like a recording, but you don't realize it because it sounds like it's talking to you, and you did. It's like if you finally get to realize it, you just fucking hang up because it's like, dude, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's going to be something like that, at least tell me that at the beginning of it so I know and I'm not trying to talk to somebody.
Right. Well, and then the worst is when you get somebody on the phone and they're going on with you and everything, and they have to look something up in the computer or whatever, and they're like, hold please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for holding.
Yes.
Hold please. Shut up.
And if you're gonna put me on hold, at least play some damn good fucking hold music.
But it's happened to be. These are usually the ones that are outsourced overseas and everything. But they won't even put you on hold. They're just they're just on there. You can hear them clacking around on the keyboard and everything. And they're like, hold. They're just saying it. Hold, please. Thank you for holding. Right. I'll be with you shortly. Hold, please.
In some fucking monster call center in some strip mall somewhere.
In India or something. Yeah. But I tell you what, speaking of the sound of a keyboard clacking and all that stuff, I really hope that is not the last thing that I hear if I have to dial 911.
Yeah, right.
Because you hear those 911 calls and it's just like, it's just like, what's going on? Oh, there's somebody breaking into my house. I think they have a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Can you give me an address?
Yeah, no shit. Thank you for calling 911. Please hold.
Thank you for holding.
Oh, man.
If I survive this, you're going to need to call 911.
Yep.
So, anyway. So, Richard Speck.
Yes.
On the night of July 13th, 1966, Richard Speck brutally murdered 8 nursing students in their Chicago residence.
Oh.
At their dormitory. So... And he was one of the most fiendish mass murderers in American history. As slaying 8 nurses in one night.
Yeah.
That got national attention.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
Unlike somebody we know.
Yeah, old JPF.
Yeah.
What? No race wars?
Yeah.
Perfect, Nugan.
Oh boy, yeah.
Your buddy.
Yeah, my buddy. Yeah. That episode took a lot off my life. I tell you that.
So, Richard Speck, he was born in the small city of Monmouth, Illinois. He had two religious parents in 1941.
All right.
But in 1947, when he was 6, his 53-year-old father died from a heart attack. And his mom remarried a few years later, and Speck's new stepfather was the complete opposite of his clean-cut, nice guy, religious dad.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So his stepfather was a traveling salesman with a long criminal record. He would drink and verbally abuse Richard. Yeah, and I couldn't imagine being a traveling salesman either. I mean,
yeah, that's I couldn't do that, not at all.
Like getting the door slammed out of you slammed in your face like 9 out of 10 times.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, that's hard work. Just like walking up to somebody's door and going, "Hey, you want to buy this?"
Yeah.
I think not. All right.
I was thinking that he was a traveling clock salesman.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't. That wasn't Richard Speck's dad. That was Dean Corll's dad.
Oh, okay.
Who was the traveling clock salesman. But and I'm sure we'll get to Candyman Dean Corll at some point. He's another heavy hitter.
Right.
But
yeah, we'll get there.
One of the sickest fucks that there are.
One of those, huh? All right.
I'm worried about you, Todd. You sound like something's wrong. So just say Grogu if there's something if you're being held hostage.
No, everything's fine. I'm just a little
okay.
A little out of it tonight, but everything's good.
You haven't said Grogu. I'm calling 911.
You told me to say that if something. Yeah, never mind.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, say Grogu if everything's fine. Okay,
Grogu.
We're good.
Yes, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm a little out of it today.
I'm trying to snap you out of your funk, too.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate it, bro. I'll get there. It'll be fine.
So they moved from Illinois to East Dallas, Texas, where they bounced house to house and everything, and they were living in the poor neighborhoods. So Speck was a poor student throughout school, and he refused to wear the glasses that he needed, and he wouldn't speak in class due to anxiety. He repeated the 8th grade and eventually dropped out in the second semester of the first year of high school.
Okay.
Like, man, I love high school. The girls stay the same age, and I keep getting older.
All right. Or
did I get that backwards? I get older, and the girls stay the same age. Yeah, I had that backwards.
Yeah, that's
what movie was that from?
Dazed and Confused, I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking it was Fast Times at Ridgemont High at first, but no. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Dazed and Confused. The one with Matthew McConaughey. You gotta love Matthew McConaughey, dude. He's freaking hilarious.
Not as hilarious as Matt Damon.
Yeah, but that's a completely different funny.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So by that time, Richard Speck had picked up his stepfather's drinking habit, and he was getting drunk just about every day. And Speck held a number of regular jobs, and he even got married after he knocked up a 15-year-old girl that he met at the Texas State Fair.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't jailbait at that point. I think.
Okay, well, that's
it was like
good.
16 or 17.
All right, so he's starting young. Okay.
Yeah, but he continued to run into trouble with the law. He tattooed "Born to Raise Hell" on his arm, and he lived by that ethic. He was.
All right,
yeah.
That just seems a little odd, but okay.
Born to raise hell.
I mean, not odd. You know what I mean? It's just that's okay. You're gonna tattoo something like that on your arm, and then.
Oh, he totally
whatever.
looks like a wannabe James Dean in his earlier years.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So he was just being a badass, trying to be a badass.
But he would be arrested 41 times before he turned 24.
Holy shit.
I've only been...
41 times?
41 times. I've only been arrested twice, and I'm 49.
Yeah, I've only been arrested once. And I'm 52, and he's fucking 40... How many? 41 times?
41 times before 24.
Before he turned 24? Wow.
And both of mine were... one of mine was a suspended license when I was 19. And then the other time, I guess I was like, I don't know, maybe 30, 31. And that was because I got pulled over for speeding. And much to my chagrin, much to my shock, much to my surprise, I had forgotten about my car insurance.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that'll do
it. And in
it.
South Carolina, that's where this was. In South Carolina, they treat driving without insurance. It winds up costing you the same amount as what a DUI would, or pretty damn close to it.
Holy crap.
They don't like that shit in South Carolina. And the funny thing about it, I had to carry SR22 insurance after that. So I call up my insurance company. I said, I need SR22. And you know what? My freaking insurance, the cost of my insurance went down. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
But...
Well, that's cool.
I mean, coverage, there was probably some difference in the coverages. My coverage probably went down. But, but still. Shit, I don't... All right. So when I didn't have to carry it anymore, I called him back. This is like a year later, because I had to carry it for a year. I called him back and everything, and they gave me a quote, and it was SR22 was still lower, and I'm like, Would you like to switch up? I said, no, I'll keep my SR22.
Yeah, right. No shit.
SR means,
dude, that's fucked up.
SR means state required, so therefore, I'm gonna follow what the state says and, keep my SR22 insurance.
Yeah, why not? Especially if it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, it was like $20 cheaper a month. I mean, I'm not talking about like $3 or $4. It was like $25 cheaper.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? I ought to look into SR22 now, because my insurance is pretty damn high right now for some reason, even though I'm one of the safest drivers on the planet.
Right.
I have a spotless driving record. I've had a CDL for 5 years. I'm approaching probably 500,000 miles. That I've driven in a semi.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I've never even gotten a ticket, knock on wood, in the semi.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've always been kind of, ever since like going through that period when I was like a teenager and everything, and racked up 24 points in 24 months on my license. And driving on a suspended license for as long as I did, and going to jail for it.
Yeah, right.
I've kind of become a grandpa driver. Even when I was in my 20s, it's like I was just like, okay, I'm driving the speed limit, maybe just a tiny little bit faster, but I ain't hauling ass.
Yeah, right.
So Richard Speck's wife, Shirley Malone, she reportedly lived, she was afraid of Malone, she was afraid of Richard. And Richard said that he would often rape her at knife point and demanded sex 4 or 5 times a day from her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like old...
Okay.
Kind of sounds like old JPF as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Can't rape you. No, that wasn't JPF.
Yeah,
that was Boone Helm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when Speck is when Speck is drinking, he'll fight or threaten anybody. That's a quote from his probation officer.
Oh yeah, right.
And as long as he has a knife or a gun, but when he's sober and unarmed, he couldn't even face down a mouse.
No, he's one of those, huh? Needs that liquid courage to fucking be a tough guy.
Yeah,
huh?
but he was born to raise hell.
Yeah, right? Oh, but only when he's drunk.
Yeah, acting like Boone Helm, although Boone Helm would have had him on a plate served up with some fava beans.
Yes, right? And a nice Chianti.
Yep. All of his arrests included theft, robbery, fraud, and assault. You know, it's just basically that stuff. I mean, he hadn't killed anybody yet. He hadn't really, like tried to kill anybody yet. But that was about to change. In 1965, Speck attacked a woman in the parking lot of her apartment building with a 17-inch carving knife. You know,
Oh.
she did escape, and Speck was arrested and given a 16-month sentence, and he was released after 6 months due to an error.
Due to an error?
Due to an error.
Oh, shit.
I wonder if he knows Nikki from the
Right.
MK Ultra mass murderer episode,
Yeah.
because he did some pretty fucked up shit, but he was released on an error.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's what we
man.
think anyway. It doesn't really go into specifics. I mean, how could somebody like that be, released?
Let
Yeah,
go.
just-
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so he was released by on a mistake
Huh?
or an error.
Yeah.
So he got released on an error. All
Yeah.
right.
Was he playing baseball?
I don't know.
Like George Carlin said, in baseball you get an error. Oops.
Yeah.
In
Oops,
football it's
I made an error.
in football it's a penalty.
Yeah.
But
Good old George Carlin. I miss him.
I do too. So, fearing for her life, Speck's wife filed for divorce and took full custody of their kid.
Okay. Well, good for her because, yeah.
Yeah. So, Speck's violence only escalated from there, and moving back to Monmouth to live with his sister, he stabbed a man in a bar fight, stole a car, robbed a grocery store, then burgled, tortured, and raped a 65-year-old woman in her home.
Oh, God.
Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy. Fuck, dude. That's
Asshole.
that's just so kind. That's just so much wrong with that. I don't even know where to start.
On his mugshot, his hair is all greased back and everything. He's got a leather jacket on with a white, he's got a white polo shirt on with a white T-shirt on underneath the polo shirt.
Oh.
So he's all wanna be the Fonz.
Yeah, he's trying to be cool,
Yeah,
but he's not because that's just.
I bet
Yeah.
like right before he did his mugshot, because I seriously doubt his hair looked that good when he was brought in, so he probably slicked it back before taking the mugshot, and then when he went to go
Yeah.
take the mugshot, he went, Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, probably.
So Speck then killed a 32-year-old barmaid who worked at a bar that he was doing carpentry work for, and I'm pretty sure that he was also buying drinks at the bar as well.
Yeah.
So after being questioned for this murder, Speck skipped town and moved in with another one of his sisters in Chicago.
Oh.
So
He's lucky that his family's taking him in, man. This guy's a real piece of crap.
yeah. So yeah, it's just man. Just why are you going to kill the woman who's selling you drinks?
Yeah.
I mean, unless he was trying to get a free tab and she told him to go fuck off and he just went off on her.
Yeah, that's possible. But still.
I'd like to see him in a ring with Boone Helm.
Yeah, there you go. That would be a good one. He wouldn't last a second.
No, he'd last about as long as Zilla did in Godzilla Final Wars, when Zilla actually met the real Godzilla.
Yeah.
So by that year, or by July of that year, Speck had overstayed his welcome with his sister, and he attempted to get a job with the National Maritime Union, the Merchant Marines.
Oh, okay.
So he stayed there for 5 days waiting a shipping assignment, and during that time he committed the worst of his crimes. He committed the murder spree. Now he's killed one person, and then went on a spree where he killed 8 others. So he's killed 9 people. Does that make him a serial killer, or is he just a spree killer who killed one extra person?
Well, from what I hear, it takes, if you kill 3 people or more, you're a serial killer.
Well, it's 3 people with a specified amount of time in between.
Oh, is it?
And
okay.
Not related. So he's not a serial killer. He's a spree killer, and then he's
a spree killer.
Yeah, and then so it would be like if William Cruz had killed somebody 2 weeks prior to his rampage in Palm Bay, and William Cruz is not considered a spree killer. Or, excuse me, William Cruz is not considered a serial killer. He's considered a spree killer.
Yeah.
So, episode 3, go back and listen to it if you hadn't.
Yeah.
Our podcast is the only one that you'll find on him. William
that's
Cruz,
right.
we're the only ones. I mean, I haven't checked it in a while. There could have been another podcast that picked it up, but when at the time when we recorded that episode, we were the first. So,
yep.
Like we say, it's something about 2 Florida men drinking beer and talking about true crime. It makes it a little better when it's coming from 2 Florida men.
Yeah. Yes, it's always more fun when there's 2 Florida men talking about it.
Talking about another Florida man.
Yeah, talking about another Florida man, exactly.
Although we don't claim we.
I almost missed that one. That one almost went right over my head.
Yeah, we don't claim that Florida man though.
No, not at all.
Especially since the wife of a police officer that he killed reached out to us, and now I'm friends with her on Facebook after she heard our podcast. So it was unexpected.
Yes.
So on July 12th, he did receive an assignment on the Merchant Marine ship, and Speck arrived at the ship only to find that his position had been given to somebody else.
Uh-oh. That's not good. He was probably late.
Yeah,
right?
he had to have been late.
Yeah, because, they just don't give it up.
No, they're like...
If you're there on time.
Yeah, just... They already had somebody in place, so it's like, okay, be here at noon. He probably got there at 1:30. And at that point, they're like, all right, this loser's not showing up. Next.
Yeah, right.
The first one.
Who do we got next? Let's take him instead, because, this ain't happening.
Yeah. The guy with the monkey on a leash.
Yeah, we'll take him. He'll be fine.
So he went on a drinking spree in the neighborhood. He's just like walking down the street, pounding beers and liquor and stuff like that. So on his binge, Speck met Ella Mae Cooper, a 53-year-old woman who had spent the entire day drinking at the same taverns as him. He then held her up at knife point. Speck brought her back to his hotel room, and he raped her and stole her her .22 caliber pistol.
Oh shit!
So, nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, he didn't kill her, but Well, actually, you know what? If he had killed her, then that probably would have made him a serial killer.
Yeah,
because that
might have done
because
it.
that would have been, the murder of the bartender, this lady, and then even though it was the same day, it was a separate instance. A completely separate instance with what he does next. So that might have done it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely could have done it for sure.
Yeah.
If he'd only waited.
He's such a stupid dick. Calling him dick because he's Richard.
Yeah, right.
He's such a stupid dick. He can't even get that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I think
spree
killer is kind of like spree killer is to serial killer what security guard is to cop.
Yeah, right. Oh boy, yeah.
So now
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's true. It works. It's a joke, but it works.
Yeah. No, it does.
Because spree killers, they don't look, they're not looked at with the same type of morbid fascination that serial killers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Starkweather. There's debate on whether he was a spree killer or a serial killer and everything. I think he's a serial killer though, because he went on a Bonnie and Clyde type rampage and everything, but it was still, it wasn't all done in like one day or anything. So I put Starkweather as a serial killer.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, and that movie, The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, I have.
Great movie. I loved that movie. And
yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
And it was based on Charles Starkweather and his girlfriend. Yeah, it was based on them. The ghost or whatever that was the ghost of the killer and everything. I mean, they essentially went on a similar rampage as as what Starkweather and his girlfriend did.
Oh, all right.
So and that's
yeah, I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not cool, but I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean. But but yeah, if you haven't seen that, watch it because it's really good. I mean, it's kind of like dark, cheeky comedy.
Yeah.
With a little bit of horror, but it's really it's a really good movie. I mean, it's probably
yeah, it is. I mean, it's one of those movies that it came out at a time where whatever the other movies it was going up against just outshone it, so nobody really watched it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, that movie's great. Everybody should see that if you can.
Oh yeah, it's on, I watched it recently, so it's on one of the platforms. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
So now Speck is armed and he sets out to the streets of Chicago, South Side. And if you know anything about Chicago, you know that just already the South Side of Chicago is not the nicest, the safest place to be anyway.
Yeah, right.
Especially these days. It might have been different in the 60s.
Especially these days.
Might have been different in the 60s.
Yeah, it might have been. Who knows?
So Speck broke through the window of this townhouse, the dormitory for the nurses, at 11 p.m. It's just random. He saw, he probably saw one of the girls going in there or whatever, or maybe he saw that it was looked easy to get into or whatever. So he broke through the window of the townhouse at 11 o'clock at night on July 13th of 1966, and he made his way to the bedrooms. And he first knocked on the door of a Filipino exchange student, Corazon Amuro. and she was age 23, and at gunpoint he herded her and her fellow exchange students from the Philippines, Merlita Gargulo, age 23, Valentina Pazon, 23, into the next room were the American students, Patricia Matusek, age 20, Pamela Wilkening, age 20, Nina Jo Schmale, where they were all sleeping.
Yeah.
Speck woke up the American girls and tied all 6 of their wrists behind their backs with strips of torn bedsheet. Amuro, she was the lone survivor at the encounter. She later said, the American girls told us that we more or less had to trust him. Maybe if we were calm and quiet, he will be too. And yeah, he had been talking to us all, and he seems calm enough, so that's a good sign.
Right, yeah.
Well,
we can only hope.
The thing about that is that only works in bad horror movies.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
mean-
true. That's not true. That's not true. Because look at what the survivor of William Cruz did. You know, she was able to talk him down.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it could happen, but,
Right.
probably not very often. I mean,
I'm going to be watching our stats and see if William Cruz got the bump after this episode airs.
yeah, right?
Whole thing is getting a bump. Oh, speaking of, that podcast that I was telling you about, Private Dicks, they ran the promo on the episode that they released today, or yesterday. I heard it. And
Oh, cool.
they opened their show with it. It's like before they heard
wow.
anything else, it was our promo. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I got to really sit down and actually do a good promo. Because I'm kind of embarrassed by this.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. It's the second time your psycho cat has made an appearance on our podcast.
Yeah, well,
But instead of being calm and all that stuff, and Speck led them one by one out of the room. He's then stabbed or strangled each of the women to death. Amira said that none of her friends screamed as they were being led from the room, but then she later heard muffled cries.
Oh.
Yeah, that's got to really suck. You're sitting there. It's like, okay, first person goes out. First person doesn't come back, but he does. Takes the second person.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. It's like, what the... that's just... I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, like, what do you do? I mean, how do you even... Yeah, fuck.
and you're tied, you can't do anything, and you're not... it's just... he might have been really good with knots or whatever, but Amiro apparently got loose, but we'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
So, in the midst of the carnage, 2 other student nurses who lived in the dorm arrived home. The first was Suzanne Ferris, age 21, who Speck stabbed to death in the stairway in the upstairs hallway as she was walking to her room. It's like, surprise, you're dead.
Damn.
And then the second was Mary Ann Jordan, age 20, who Speck also stabbed to death on the same way as she was trying to go into her room. Not having any idea, and all of a sudden, can you imagine? It's like, okay, I'm just home and all that stuff, and all of a sudden there's this fucking wannabe James Dean Fonzie motherfucker in there, and he goes, "Hey, I think I'm gonna kill you." So
yeah, I don't know, man. That's fucked up, dude. I can't even imagine what those. I mean, I know they got killed, but I mean, before that,
the psychological, it's just like,
just the horror, the terror they must have felt.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably no different than in a wartime situation or a terrorism situation where they just one by one take the victims out, and then the victims don't come back.
So yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So the last of these later arrivals was Gloria Jean Day, age 22, and she was dropped off by her boyfriend late that night. And she was the only one of the women that Richard Speck had raped before strangling. And it's just like, you want to talk about you? Can you imagine how bad that boyfriend must have felt that he didn't come up there with her?
Yeah, right. Oh man, that's
freaking survivors.
That's just he's got to be blaming himself for that. Like,
yeah, but
even though it's not his fault, he didn't know.
No, of course. Nobody would blame would blame him at all. But it's just survivor's guilt type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, damn. I mean, he probably, that probably fucked him up for life. I mean.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you know what? Okay, more than likely, this dude might have been able to take Richard Speck out, because remember, Richard Speck was a pussy unless he was drunk. He was drunk and he did have a knife, but still. If you fight some back at somebody like that, even if they are drunk and with a knife, somebody who's ultimately a pussy, you're going to get them. I mean, you might get stabbed or cut, but you'll be able to get him, because once you start giving him real resistance that he's not used to, he's the cowardice in him is going to come out.
Oh yeah, dude, no, for sure, yeah. Yeah, he'll get scared and fucking, oh shit, what do I do? And then run or whatever.
And you just beat the crap out of him and let him go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
But and I'm sure that he it's gone over that scenario 100 times in his head, thousands of times. I
don't doubt it.
Yeah, it's just like, if I had just gone in there, especially when the profile came out about him, about how he was basically a bully. Like the classic bully that, once you stand up to a bully, they back down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, but likely because of his late arrivals, Speck must have lost count of how many women he had tied up, because he forgot about Amuro.
Oh, yeah.
So she stayed hidden under the bed until 6 o'clock in the morning, hours after Speck had finished his rampage and left.
Oh man!
But so she's just like, I ain't leaving, I ain't moving, in case he's standing there.
Yeah, right. I mean, God, dude, she must have been horrified.
Yeah, it's like, but what would happen? Well, that's like straight out of a horror film as well. It's just like she, it's just like, okay, the people that are being stalked and everything, they're hiding. One comes out. It's been a while. One comes out and everything, and he's right behind her. Yeah, they do that in the Friday the 13th movies and the Halloween movies specifically. But
yeah, I couldn't even imagine what she went through, fucking sitting there, just. She must have been losing her friggin' mind.
Oh yeah, it's like in the movie Malcolm McDowell. Shit.
Which one? Clockwork Orange?
It's like kind of, it's just like what he was being forced to watch, all that horrible stuff and everything, and everything as a result of what happened, and how it went through his mind and everything. It's just like all this horrible stuff and everything that is probably going through her mind as well. Like what happened to her, what she envisioned happened to her friends and all that stuff, and
Oh yeah.
So finally at 6 a.m. she came out of her hiding place and went to the nearest window, where she screamed, "They're all dead! My friends are all dead! Oh God, I'm the only one alive!" And she just kept screaming until somebody called the police, and they came.
Wow.
So, even though Speck had bolted, he was easily recognized after he went to a hospital a few days later, and the doctor had noticed his tattoo, after reading about it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? If you're going to be a spree killer or a serial killer, don't get tattoos.
Yeah, don't get tattoos. That's the dead giveaway.
Or if you do get a tattoo, make sure it's a tattoo that's going to be completely covered by a shirt.
Yeah.
And if you rape somebody, don't take your shirt off.
Don't take your shirt off, yeah.
Yeah. Serial Killer 101 with Bill and Todd.
Yeah, right. It's sad that we know that stuff.
Yeah. Kind of comes with the territory. You take in all these cases and everything, you kind of know what. Yeah, but still, if I were to go on a killing rampage and everything, even knowing what I know, pretty sure I'd do something that would, stupid that would get me caught.
Yeah, right.
We had another one of our cases that it was the tattoos that did him in. That was your old buddy JPF.
Yeah, his tattoos did him in as well.
Yeah,
So that just really goes to show you that if you're going to be doing this kind of shit, don't have tattoos,
right? Or at least don't have visible tattoos.
Yeah.
But then again, if you're not going to have visible tattoos, what's the point of having a tattoo?
Yeah, what's the point of having them? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I have one that I wish I had never gotten, but it was supposed to be because I had the one tattoo. And then I got a cover up of it of a big castle and everything. I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean that was back in 2002. I may have shown it to you one of the times that I came down. I don't know. I'll show it to you next time I see you. But it was supposed to be like the start of like dragons and stuff, dragons and wizards, like fantasy sleeve.
And
I'll be honest with you. The tattoo artist fucked up. And that kind of made me lose faith in tattoo artists altogether. So I'm kind of glad that he fucked up because it's covered by a short sleeve shirt. You can't see it unless I'm wearing a tank top or I'm not wearing a shirt. But I'm like really glad that he screwed up because if he hadn't screwed up, I probably would have like gone on with the sleeve and totally regretted the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wish I had never gotten a tattoo.
Well, it happens.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I forget that it's there. It's just it's so faded now. It just looks like a damn big old ink blot because it was never colored in. Because like I said, he screwed up and there was no fixing it either. There was no fixing what he did. And it's just like, actually, you know what? After this episode airs, I'll take a picture of it and post it on Twitter and Facebook and the socials or whatever. I'll do that so you can see it. I mean, I shouldn't have to put an arrow next to where the fuck up is, but I will anyway.
But you will anyway. Why not, right?
Yeah. So Speck was placed on trial for the murders after a panel of psychiatrists. The panel was chosen both by the defense and the prosecutors, and they judged him to be competent to stand trial.
Oh.
And the insanity defense never works for these people. I mean, I believe that the only person that has ever actually had a successful insanity defense was Ed Gein. Yeah. And he wound up, in a psychiatric hospital for the rest of his life, a psychiatric prison. Kind of like that place in Springfield where Larry Hall and James Keene were. But during his trial, which began on April 3rd, 1967, clamps. Clamps. Clamp. We were just talking about Futurama yesterday.
Yeah.
And the robot mafia.
The robot mafia. Hell yeah.
Sammy the Mechanical Bull Gravano. So, but Speck claimed to, of course, have no recollection of the murders, but that didn't bother the prosecution because they already had an eyewitness there to identify him. A Muro.
Yeah.
And she's a badass bitch too, man. She took the witness stand for the trial, and then she jumped off of the stand, stood directly in front of Richard Speck, pointed at him with her finger almost touching his chest, and said, "This is the man." They had found fingerprint. They had found Speck's fingerprints at the scene of the crime.
Well, that can't be good.
No. So the trial of Richard Speck was a national sensation. It was one of the first times in 20th century American history that somebody had killed so many people at random. And for many at the time, it was seen to be like the end of an era of innocence. It was never assumed that someone would kill helpless victims without clear motivation. But then, of course, just 2 years later, Charles Manson, he would do his thing.
Yeah.
Well, he would order the people to do the thing.
Yeah.
So, after only 45 minutes of deliberation, the jury came back with a guilty verdict for old Speck.
Oh, that didn't take long.
Nope. So, he was initially given a death sentence, but was reduced to life in prison in 1971 when the Supreme Court ruled that people that were opposed to the death penalty were excluded from the jury selection.
Oh, like really? Okay.
So,
well, I mean, I guess if they did try to stack the jury, I can see that, but is that what happened?
I don't know. I mean, it could have just been like, it just depends on what they were saying when they interviewed them. It's like, did they come out and say, "Hey, are you opposed to the death penalty?" Yes. Okay, next. Then
that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, that was,
like,
that's if that's what happened, then yeah, that's a valid thing. But yeah, Speck served this sentence at Stateville Correctional Center in Illinois. Hell, they should have taken to Springfield.
Yeah, right.
A lot worse there, from what I hear. But, but throughout that time there, he regularly got caught with drugs and with moonshine. He was getting it smuggled in. And he was given the name Bert.
He was getting moonshine smuggled in?
Yeah. Or maybe
he wasn't doing he wasn't doing the toilet hooch.
Oh, it says moonshine. That's hooch. That's not moonshine. Hooch and moonshine are two completely different things.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. But how you going to set up a still in a prison? That had to have been smuggled in.
Well, yeah, probably.
Hooch, not so much. But
yeah. Well, yeah, you can make that shit in the toilet.
If somebody handed you a mug and said, "Hey," or a glass and said, "Hey, this is genuine prison hooch," would you try it?
No,
I would.
I would not.
I wouldn't either. Would you even take it into your mouth just to taste it and then spit it out?
No, I would not.
Mm-mm. Me either.
Because seriously, dude, they make that stuff with like their piss and stuff, dude. There's no friggin' way I'd ever even try that.
Yeah, and like for rotten fruit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was given the nickname Birdman because he kept a couple of sparrows that had flown into his cell.
Not the Birdman, but a Birdman.
Yeah. It's kind of like Richard Ramirez was the Night Stalker, but not the original Night Stalker.
Yes.
He was Birdman, but not the original Birdman. Because and you know what? The Birdman of Alcatraz was much cooler.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, in 1996, there was a bizarre video taken of Speck in 1988 that was released to the public by an anonymous attorney. And you can find this video and more on YouTube. In fact, the video that's linked here on my only source for this episode, allthatisinteresting.com. There's a video link, and it is a YouTube video.
Oh wow!
So I mean that stuff is out there, and I haven't looked at the video, but I have done like an image search, and some things you can't unsee.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah.
But in the video, Speck is wearing silk panties with female-like breasts that were grown because he had gotten hormone treatments smuggled in. He performs oral sex on another inmate while they're both doing large amounts of cocaine.
Oh my!
Yeah, and in one of the other videos, or it might be this same video, who knows? But in one of the videos, he says something along the lines of, "It's like they should have just put me to death. If they knew how much fun I was having in here, they would."
Jesus, yeah, right.
So he's just the prison bitch that grew like breasts and everything to make himself more appealing to people. So he did it for protection and popularity. Yeah. So these people that are down with that and everything, it's just yuck.
Yeah, right. No shit, dude. Yeah.
And if you do an image search, you can find pictures of him without a shirt on.
That's okay.
Yeah, don't do it, because like I said,
I don't need nor want to see that.
Right. Like I said, once some things cannot be unseen.
Exactly.
So at one point there was a prisoner behind the camera, and he asked Speck why he'd killed the 8 nurses, and what he said was, "Well, it just wasn't their night," and he laughed.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. Dick.
Like, no, yeah, well, I mean,
so
it just wasn't their night. That's what he said. Dude, that makes me even more mad.
Yeah.
God, really? Fuck me, dude. What the hell's wrong with people?
Yeah, people are stupid.
But then again, though, I should be thankful for these stupid people, because otherwise we wouldn't have a show.
This is true. So,
but still,
so keep killing people, serial killers. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Now, we don't need any more serial killers. There's plenty out there to keep us going for at least 10 years. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just everybody be nice to each other for fuck's sake. It's not hard. Yeah.
Take care and be good to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went Springer.
I know. It's okay.
So, but Richard Speck died on December 5th, 1991, the night before his birthday, from a heart attack. Bye-bye.
Oh, well.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just like I said, he didn't have to live longer in prison, whatever.
Well, he was having all that fun. But was he really having all that fun? Because there was never anything about him being gay prior to these prison videos.
Yeah.
So it's just like he was probably just doing it out of necessity. Like gay for pay.
Yeah, well, to help him. He's like, look, don't beat me up. Don't do none of this. I'll do it all.
I'll grow boobs. I'll grow boobs for you so you can titty fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's now I have to go fucking put out my mind's eye with a sharp fucking pointy stick.
Oh God.
It's too bad it's dark, otherwise I'd go outside and look directly into the sun to burn that image out of my mind that I have now.
Oh God. Anyway, man, short episode. Holy crap! After it's edited, it'll be like probably under an hour.
Yeah.
Or right at an hour.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around an hour. That's all right.
Yeah. Short episode. Well, Spree Killer.
They all can't be 2 hours.
Spree Killer, there's just not a lot there. You know, it's just
it goes fast.
Yeah. So, so like Boone Helm, we wound up with 2 episodes on it.
Yeah.
You know, Gloria, we thought we were going to have 2 episodes, but it only wound up being 1.
Yeah, because we were moving through it, but I mean, it's obviously longer than,
Right. So,
it's not something we got done. We went through it because we got through it quick, but it's still going to be a relatively long episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was supposed to be a 2-parter, but
yes. Anyway,
we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate the hell out of it. Yes, anybody that takes the time to listen to our crazy asses,
right?
Yeah, and we're not going to sit here, and talk about taking a shit and stuff like that. I'm like,
no.
We're not Howard Stern.
No.
But yeah, seriously, thank you for listening. And if you could just, hook us up with ratings and stuff, leave us comments and everything, and we appreciate it. Basically,
oh yeah,
if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you can find all of our stuff located on the link that you found us on. It has links to all our website, which links to all the platforms, all the episodes, and it also has a link to my original music. At Todd's, with the YouTube page, Todd's in charge of that. It's going to be linked there as well, if it isn't already.
As soon as I get it going,
yeah.
I'm working on it.
Right. And that's why we're kind of giving you a pass on procrastinating on the getting the episodes done, because we're kind of it's just like, okay, well, he's doing he's putting together the YouTube page, but bro,
and probably a TikTok page too.
Yeah, so. But it can't happen at the extent of the main show, because that's our bread and butter.
I know.
That's our bread and butter, bro.
I know. It won't. I have to do this. I'm making a schedule for myself.
Nice.
I have to edit and do this kind of stuff, and then I have to do the YouTube kind of stuff, and spend so many hours a day of the time I have left after I get home from work and whatnot.
Right.
Doing these things to get them done in a more punctual manner.
Well,
so I'm doing that. I'm working on that too, and everything should be back to normal here soon this week.
Well, here, like after I get back from my little, over the road time that I've got to do, I'll have more time to be able to, to do more content with the show, and we might be able to, work out some time to put up some exclusive content that for like a Patreon page. I mean, there's some podcasts out there, I'm not calling anybody out. That they do things how they want, and more power to them. But it's just, I don't want to like, okay, we've got a Patreon episode on Ted Bundy up. It's just like, if we I'm not going to do that. I mean, we're going to cover the heavy hitters at some point. Like I said, Jeffrey Dahmer is going to be episode 500. And so, but it's like, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna put something out on premium that other podcasts have out there for free. On like a serial killer or whatever, like Jonestown. We're not gonna make that a Patreon exclusive when we wind up covering that one. It's just we're not gonna do that. What we're gonna put on Patreon is stuff that's outside of the show that. It's still true crime related, but at this point, we're not even going to be putting the Survivor episodes on there. Actually, we're not going to. We're not going to put the Survivor episodes on Patreon, because that would be doing a disservice to the person that came on and got interviewed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's just like the stuff that when we do eventually get a Patreon page launched, the premium content that's going to be there is going to be completely different from the show. So.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
So.
But anywho,
we're going to get the hell out of here. And until next time, later.
Cheers, everybody.